Hello and welcome back to another episode of If I Were to Have a Podcast. My name is Mike Keslek. I am here with...
This is Sweeney Podcast. Take one. All right, now we can start.
I did that already.
You did.
Like 20 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago,
5 minutes ago.
5 minutes ago.
What?
Yeah. See, he
fucking
even remembers.
slate?
Yes, I did.
You didn't.
I said, I'm
He
going to
did
slate real
it,
quick.
Yeah.
If I were to have a podcast, Sweeney, hopefully take one.
And then you had him get back up to check.
That's
and-
why, because I had to check everything, and when I checked everything,
No. I'm
no,
saying
no,
you
no,
made
no.
him get up to check again. If I were to have a podcast.
If I were to have a podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of If I Were to Have a Podcast. My name is Mike Keslak and I am here with...
Gerry Vincent.
And we have a very, very special guest today. One time, years and years ago, he befriended a penguin, and since then, they have remained friends, and he officially has a pen pal. Get it? Penguin, pen, penguin, penguin. Anyways, we are here with Mr. Brandon Sweeney. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Of course, of course. How's your pen pal doing?
Doing really well, I guess.
Yeah. What was his name again?
What was his name?
I don't know. You tell me. He's your
He's your
friend.
friend.
Who are we talking about?
Your pen pal.
Your
My
penguin
pen pal.
Yeah, the penguin.
The penguin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name?
What's his name?
What's his name?
What is his name?
I don't
tell
know.
me.
But anyways,
You write to him every day.
we are very excited for today's podcast. Sweeney here is not only a good friend of ours, but a man of many, many talents. But I will not go further with talking about them. I will let him talk about himself a little before asking him a very special question. So why don't you let everybody know who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so again, my name's Brandon Sweeney, and I've been in real estate for about 7 years now. I primarily service Southern New Hampshire and Northern Mass. I also run a nonprofit here in Dracut called msisbsnewengland. That is my my pet project.
Nice.
That might be my penguin.
That might be your penguin.
Might be my penguin.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I we've known each other for quite some time now, and yeah, just excited to get this rolling.
Yeah, no, us too. Thank you so much for doing this today. We'll try to make it as painful as possible.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. So that leads us to our big question. If you were to have a podcast, what would it be?
Yeah, so I've been giving this a lot of thought.
Okay.
If I were to have a podcast, it would be about the pursuit of being a good person.
Okay.
I knew I was going to stump you guys.
Okay.
I knew I was going to
Yeah,
stump
because
you.
you're a piece of shit.
I know.
So wouldn't have guessed that at all. Yeah. Okay. Pursuit of being a good person. Nice. I like it.
Yeah,
And why is that?
because everything in my life, I've done it in order to prove to myself that I'm a good person. And I don't know where that stems from, but my entire life I've wanted to do good and bring good. And maybe it's because that's what I want back to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Paige and I, my fiance and I, every single night when we go to bed, we tell each other it was a good day. And that's our motto. And we're going to be getting that tattooed on ourselves, and it's going to be more good days.
Nice.
So that's it's just embodied everything that I do in my life. And it makes me feel good.
That's great.
That's awesome.
I think you should get those tattoos on your wedding day.
We have a tattoo artist scheduled for the wedding night.
Look at that.
Perfect.
Look at that.
Perfect.
Jerry is in your head.
Oh yeah.
You want to know why I know that? I'm the tattoo artist.
I don't think I would trust you with anything sharp.
Why?
I would
not?
anything sharp.
I would not.
I would.
That's awesome. Don't and it's funny that you say that because don't you have something in your bio that says it has good in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's not that as soon as I realized that's what I was in pursuit of.
Yeah.
But I went through a whole rebranding over the past year. And yeah, the top of my cover photo in all of my social media, you'll see it's a good day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just, it's one of those things that it's going to carry with me wherever I go, whatever I do.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was, kind of looking into some things to possibly mention to you, I saw that and I saw it good and I saw it in your bio and I was going to actually ask you about that. So look at that. It came up.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. And that's why I started a nonprofit, because I want to do more good for the community. I want to do more and more for the people that we are helping.
Yeah.
So it's kind of my mission in life to spread good, and good things are going to happen. I believe in the law of reciprocity. So, put out good comes to you. Yeah. And it's just, it's my MO.
Nice. Your Mo.
My
Nice.
Mo.
Your Mo. I love a good Mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Sizzlack. It's my favorite Mo. Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
What's your favorite Mo?
Sizzlack.
Money.
Yeah. Money.
Money,
Nice.
money, money.
Nice. You weren't a Simpsons fan? Wow. I give up.
I'm really sorry, man.
Wow. Okay. I hope that you got that. Did you not get the most Sizzlack thing either?
Of course I
I
fucking
was going to say, you watch it like every other day,
Not
maybe.
every other day.
Okay, every 3
You
days.
still watch The Simpsons? Do they
So-
post or get to push out
So
new episodes?
Kat had never watched The Simpsons growing up because she kind of grew up in a religious household.
Yeah.
So
Simpsons were the devil.
yeah, Simpsons with the devil. So I wanted to show her some of the good old Simpsons episodes. So we got up
Okay.
until season 15 or 20 or something like that.
Just binging them?
Yeah, about a year or two ago, we watched a bunch of them. And
How long did that take?
It kind of sizzles out at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the older episodes are still good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sizzlack's out.
sizzlax out.
Yeah.
See, I watched like a few episodes with my father back in the day, but
Oh,
that's
gotcha.
about it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Kim puts it on to go to sleep every night. So it's literally on every day at our house. Yeah. So I have no choice. But that's besides the point. That has nothing to do with anything. I love that, and I know that we'll get into the nonprofit in a second. But you said that you don't know where that comes from of wanting to do good. Has it been something where in your life you've experienced that, like growing up, or where do you think that
Yeah, I mean,
were you surrounded by it, or did you have to get there on your own?
So if we're gonna bring this introspectively, it's been a culmination of having to form that for myself. Not that I wasn't in a loving household, but again, that premise isn't always talked about. We weren't a super religious household. Yes, we did practice religion, but it just stemmed from I was raised with good morals.
Yeah.
I will say that. And that stems from the religious beliefs that we have. And so I was raised with good morals, and sometimes I would lose myself, and that would come back to me, right? So at every point that I had a tough time, I've struggled with mental health in the past, still struggle with mental health, but that doesn't mean that I can't kind of bring myself back into the reality that I'm in.
Yeah.
And again, I believe in spreading good. And if I can spread enough good, I'm going to feel good.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I do a lot of what I do, because I want to keep myself busy. I'm always doing something. You know this.
Yes. Yes.
One
of the
so
busiest, most productive people that we know.
I wouldn't say most productive, but
Busiest. I was trying to
busiest.
give you the benefit of the doubt. But yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, it definitely stems from me wanting to create that for myself. I love my parents, and they love me.
Yep.
So it stems from that, just spreading love. And when Paige came into my life, we kind of had that same mentality, so
Yeah.
we ran with it.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, on the topic of good, you do a lot of good for the community. You want to talk about your nonprofit?
Yeah. So again, my nonprofit is msisbsnewengland. New England. We raise funds for local MS fighters. They're all throughout New England. We've partnered up with a bunch of neurological offices locally, and we provide grants. So those grants look like a $1,000 grant or a $5,000 grant. Patients can come to us with whatever medical needs, non-medical needs that they have when it comes to co-payments, deductibles for insurance, deductibles for their medication, gym equipment, like a bunch of other items that just tie into the disease itself, which is multiple sclerosis. So I developed the nonprofit back about 8-9 years ago, before I got into real estate, and it was a passion project of mine. At the time, it was a school project that it was a prompt from one of my professors. It was our kind of end of the year project, and it was to develop a business centered around the community. And I had already done work with the National MS Society, so I was familiar with how they ran things. And I had a team back in high school called msisbs, and we would join the National MS Society on their walks and whatnot. So I brought that back to life and created a 501c3 nonprofit. Nice. From there, we had our first event, which was a 5K. From there, we've developed that into an annual 5K, an annual gala. We just had our first golf tournament over the summer. That was a blast. The weather did not hold out for us, but it was really cool. And we're doing more and more for the MS community itself. We're bringing on more committee members to diversify kind of our outlook. We have a few people in our committees that are affected by MS specifically, and they're helping us create more of an environment that, we do want to one day have kind of a support group for MS patients locally. So whether that's meeting up in person monthly or virtually monthly, we want to give them a space to talk about their struggles and their battles and their wins. Like, we want to boost that positivity within the groups. So yeah, that's the nonprofit. Again, we have a $5,000 grant and a $5,000 grant. The $5,000 grant is used for home modifications and vehicle modifications. Yep. Because we saw that a lot of people were kind of coming to us with, hey, I want to remodel my bathroom. $1,000 is not going to go very far.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we've developed kind of a resource page too, which we will be making active on the website soon.
Nice.
But yeah.
Nice. It sounds like your love for helping people with MS kind of stems deeper than just starting up with a passion project in school.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. So I have 3 family members with MS. Mm-hmm. Stems from my father's side of the family. Mm-hmm. My grandmother, who she just passed away. She lived a very healthy life. Now she had MS. Mm-hmm. She was wheelchair bound in her later years. My father has MS and my uncle has MS. So, that much going on around me, I couldn't just volunteer here and there. Yeah. Couldn't just, donate to a cause. I wanted to do more. Yeah. And doing more to me was, let's create a nonprofit. Yeah. And then I surrounded myself with, now my fiance is involved. Yeah. So everyone, a lot of my friends are involved in terms of committees. So yeah, it blossomed into what it is now, because of the people that I've surrounded myself with.
Nice.
So yeah, one of my old neighbors, she's involved. It's great.
That's cool.
It's great. Yeah. So it's building a community within a community.
And we've seen that be built throughout the years because we're fortunate to be, a sponsor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and a part of it with you. Pretty much.
You've been a part of it since day one.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Like, I know I had posted on Facebook again back like 8-ish, 9-ish
Yeah.
years ago. And your name was the first to pop up along with a couple other local people, but your name was the first to pop up. I posted something like, anyone looking to beef up their portfolio with a photography and videography gig,
Yeah.
we're looking for you.
Yeah.
That's before like I knew anything about
Of course.
marketing and getting the word out there.
Yeah.
But it worked.
But it worked.
Yeah, but it worked. And, it worked because do we know each other much before that? Because I went to school.
Were in a class together.
Were we?
You don't remember this?
Wow, you piece of shit.
I was trying to think about this. Well, no, because it must have been like a,
Film class.
you were in that film class?
I was. And I did nothing with that class.
That makes sense.
Besides get elective hours.
Was that the one that like AJ Peroya and stuff was in?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because what happened was that, that was so I don't know if that was junior year or senior year for me.
Might have been your senior year.
It might have been my senior year because what happened with that class was that I forget if Miss Lee was out, like the teacher was out, so we had a sub, and they were like, "Hey, just make a film throughout it."
It was a sub.
Yeah, so they were like, "All right, we're gonna split the class into two.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to lead the class here, and somebody needs to lead the class here." AJ, and again, I knew like nobody because there was a lot of underclassmen too,
Yeah.
like a lot of like freshmen and sophomores, and I didn't really know people out of my grade, so he took all of the people that were like outgoing and like popular, whatever, and like all these people that were just like down for it. They all got together and did their own thing. And then I led the other group, and I had like 2 or 3 other seniors with me and just a bunch of kids that didn't want to do shit. And like,
Makes sense.
But so I got like all the outcast kids, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
But what was so cool was that from there, and again, I was 17 years old or something, I got to be kind of like the leader role, and I did like everything, but I got everybody involved in some way to the point where they were excited to be involved.
Cool.
So they went from like not wanting to do anything because they were like, I don't care. Right? I don't care about school. I don't care about this, like whatever. And they were like quiet. And I was able to get like everybody to just, be involved. And it was a lot of fun for me. But that's really, really funny that you were in that class and we've never talked about it until now.
I guess not.
I never knew that.
I thought you knew that we were in the same
No.
class and like vice versa.
No.
Like
No.
it's just like one of those things
That's really funny. I never knew that.
Yeah.
And I've known you for like a decade now, or apparently longer. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we also lived next to each other for,
that's
for
true.
quite a bit.
Yes, which I got you that place. Just saying,
You did.
I did.
You did.
But that's funny. So it started a while ago. We linked up,
Yeah.
and then because again, I also graduated with your brother. I didn't know him too well.
Yeah.
But because he was 2010, right?
He was he 2010
I
or
think so.
2009? No, 2010.
2010, yeah. So I graduated with your brother, acquaintances.
Yeah.
And then when I saw you do the thing, hit you up, we linked up, you're a good dude. And I was like, I like what you're trying to do. And then we just started working together, and then we teamed up, and we've essentially been, partnered ever since with that, and good friends since.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm even rocking the,
Oh yeah.
of course, the brands, the crossover merch that we created years and years ago that I still wear. So whenever
yeah.
I can show love. And it's been so great, even to working up to like the real estate stuff and everything through your business. It's been a lot of fun to witness, as Gerry said, to see the growth of what you've been able to do with this from, us trying to make, a very simple explanation video of you, like just walking through, talking about the event,
Walking through the state forest,
walking through the
man.
state forest, just filming you something simple, and then all of a sudden seeing you have these events with hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And now going to a bigger venue for your next
Bigger
event. Do you
and
want to talk
better
about
venue.
that? About the growth for there?
Yeah, so we've traditionally stayed in Drake for a lot of our events because that's where we know a lot of people.
And it used to be msisbs Drake It.
It used to be msisbs Drake It. I believe it was last year. Yeah, last year in October we rolled out the msisbs New England kind of crossover. We still have some branded items that state msisbs Drake It, but for the most part, we are msisbs New England because we wanted to show who we support. Yeah. So we're going to Nashua in March for our annual gala. It's going to be at the Sheraton, so there's going to be hotel rooms, huge venue. We're really excited to roll this out.
Yeah, because what's the capacity on the venue?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if we can even hit capacity, but we could.
You can.
We could.
Yeah.
We could. But we just want it to be a lively event, like it's always been. Typically, we're roughly around like 250 people. Yeah. Right now, we have it capped out at 400, at least on the website.
Yeah.
But we want to keep it manageable,
of course,
and allow people to have a good time.
Yeah.
Dancing, a lot of people are on the dance floor at that night. So we made sure that they have a dance floor, which they do.
Good.
They have plenty of bar staff, which is important.
Also important.
Yeah. And that's always a good time. It's a lot of auction items, a lot of raffle baskets.
Yeah. What are some of the things, like some of the really cool things that you've had auctioned off or raffled before that you think that people would like really enjoy?
So one of my favorite items that comes every single year, and I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but it's a tattoo session, a full day tattoo session, 8 hours of sitting in a chair, which I've done. It's not the most fun thing, but the end result is awesome. From my friend Matt Gabon out of Route 38 Tattoo.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah,
and is that a part of the is that the raffle or the auction?
That's in the auction.
That's an auction. Okay,
that's in the auction.
Okay.
It brings in typically the highest value for a prize.
Nice.
But yeah, that's got to be my favorite. There's a bunch of different stays that people donate, different experiences. So New England sports fans typically have at least a few options in there.
Yeah.
Between the Celtics, Patriots, whatnot.
Yep.
Red Sox suite, something like that. Like that's again one of our larger items that we have.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you always have a lot.
We always have a lot, and it's a lot of variety too.
Yeah.
Like typically we have like a tool cabinet. Yes. Where do you find that in an auction? But
that's true.
We accept donations for whatever you have, and that tool cabinet, like again, that's one of our larger items too.
Yeah.
That goes because everyone has tools.
Yeah.
Whoever owns a house, which I can help with that.
That's right.
Whoever owns a house, they want to keep their tools in something nice.
Yeah.
And these cabinets are they're valuable.
Yeah, they're legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always know that whenever we, near the end of the night, when we have to film like the auctions or the raffles or anything like that, I'm always blown away where I'm like, are we still, I'll have the camera up. I'm like, is this still going? This is my arms are like dead. I'm like, there's still more stuff. Okay. All right.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Always.
We've gotten more efficient with it over the years too.
Yeah.
In terms of like calling numbers, calling names.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. It's a good time.
We put you through the ringer.
That's all right. I like it.
We make it work.
Yeah. I'm a masochist. Yeah. That's okay. No, that's awesome. I love everything that you do. And I want to hear, what is one of your favorite moments that you've experienced just running the charity and running msisbs New England for yourself?
Yeah. So I'd say it would be at the 5K. I believe it was 3 years ago. A woman came up to me. She had been coming to our events over the years, and she came up to me and she shared that her daughter had just been diagnosed with MS. And to hear that, it caused us to talk about the hereditary possibilities of MS, which it's not a hereditary disease. It's very interesting that, it needs to be, it's based on your proximity to the equator and whatnot, different environmental factors.
Interesting.
So it doesn't have to do with being hereditary. It's weird.
Okay.
They haven't found that in people's genes.
Gotcha.
So in terms of that conversation, it gave that person that sense of community. Mm-hmm. And what we've built is that community. And we have so many different families who come to our events that have that stretch of, okay, so he was diagnosed with MS. Now his sister's diagnosed with MS. We have a lot of that familial tie.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why a lot of these people aren't going to go to any other nonprofit, because they see what we're doing in this town, in this area. And it's just helpful for us to see that, because it helps us kind of stay true to what we're all about. But yeah, I'd say that's not that that's my favorite moment, because
a memorable
you don't want to. Yeah, exactly. Moment. A memorable moment. But yeah, I mean, people have come to us for a grant, and one woman in particular, she was just having a really tough year. She has MS, and she couldn't provide her family with Christmas toys. Her kids, they're grown up, and she didn't want to deprive them of having a Christmas, and it was a decision of, all right, well, do I pay my bills, or do I max out the credit cards and give my kids a Christmas that they deserve?
Yeah.
At least a couple toys. So she came to us and asked for a grant, and she was very honest about it, and she's like, I need help paying for toys for my kid. So we provided that. I mean, we're not going to shy people away from applying for a grant. If you have the disease, that's one of our requirements. As long as you have the disease and you can prove that, and you have a need, who are we to say that need's not real? Yeah. Not relevant to what this grant is for. So yeah, I mean, it's, again, trying to be good people and provide people kind of a place and an opportunity to provide their family with a good opportunity, good thing,
Yeah. No, you are. You're doing a good thing. You're doing a great thing. And you're helping a lot of people. So it's great to see, and it's rewarding for us to be a part of and to witness. So
you guys have helped out so much between, like, all right, so if I had to add it up, at least 300 photos per event, right? 300 photos per event. We've been doing this for about 8 years now. Yeah. We've had 7 galas, 8 races. Yeah. Well, I'm bad at math, but
yeah, it's at least 300. Yeah.
But 300 per event, right? And then a video per event. Like, you guys do a ton of work behind the scenes at our events, so we really appreciate you guys.
It's because we believe in you and we believe in the cause,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because even with MS, we have no direct correlation or relation to any, we don't have anybody in our lives.
Right.
I do. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Who in our lives?
Cat's niece.
Cat's niece. That's who it was. I was gonna say, that's why I looked over. I was like, actually, I feel like there's one person.
Yeah.
And I was about to say, I'm gonna speak for myself, not for Gerry. In my life,
I think I have a
do
great
not.
aunt too.
And a great aunt, yeah. I do not. But yeah, it's something where at the beginning, at least, I know that for me, a lot of it had to do with you. That was the point that I was trying to make.
Yeah.
Was that a lot of it had to do with you, and like we could see that you cared, and that your vision for it, and that it came from a genuine place. And that's something
I know, like our first meeting together.
Yeah.
We were sitting at did we meet at Coffee and Cotton? I think we
maybe.
did.
Yeah.
And we sat there for like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Literally 3 or 4 hours. And that was like after really not knowing each other.
Yeah. Apparently having a
Knew
class
of each
together that I
other.
didn't know that we had a
Yeah.
class together. But yeah. No, exactly. It just clicked, and I was like, all right, well, this is somebody that I can, see us working with and partnering with and all that stuff. So, I mean, and it's been great to see. It's been great to witness.
Yeah.
And again, as I said, it's rewarding for us too, because we feel like we're able to help in some way through what we do, right? Yeah. And bring awareness to everything, and try to get people to the events through, visual form, the power of media and all that stuff. So it's been a trip. It's been interesting so far. Yeah. Which has led us actually into another chapter of your life, which is real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've collaborated on that as well. But, give a little spiel for how you got even into real estate and how that happened. Because it didn't, it seemed to have happened overnight. And when you said 7 years earlier, I can't believe it's been 7 years, because one of the things I was going to mention to you is be like, oh, you're still fairly new to this. Like, even though I knew that, but comparatively for people that are doing it for like 30 years, we're still new to this, and we've been doing this for almost a decade. You know what I mean? But you seem to shot up very quickly, and you get awards, and you're doing this, and your face is everywhere, and I can't get you off of my social media feed. I've tried, and it just doesn't work. So, how did you get into real estate? How did all that happen?
So it's actually a funny story. I was between jobs. I had worked in the corporate world for like literally a month. I was working in Boston in the financial district for a company that I won't name, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Gotcha.
So I was there for a month doing split shifts, which, if you've ever done split shifts, it's 8 to 5 and then 12 to 8, something along those lines, the next day, right? So I would just always be thinking about work. So I left there. I joined a company, and I was in roofing sales.
Okay.
I was in roofing sales. Full 180, right?
Yeah, a little different.
So I was actually I was going on roofs occasionally. Don't like that. I'm afraid of heights. But I was very I was client facing for a lot of the times, and my presentations, I knew my presentation like the back of my hand. So I excelled in that position, and I was rewarded for it. And then the winter came. And if you're in any trade that is typically outdoors work, you get laid off. And I thought I proved myself. I showed, basically I had an entire presentation for the owner. Yeah. And I was like, I will continue selling roofs during the winter. I will do X, Y, and Z for you. I'll build up your CRM. I'll build up your website. I'll build up your company's exposure during the winter. I just ask that I stay employed.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I didn't want to be unemployed. I didn't want to just sit around doing nothing.
You didn't want to be unemployed. Weird.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah. Who would've thunk?
So anyway, my value proposition to him, unfortunately, did not get received well. And I was unemployed during that winter. So it was a nice, cool winter day. And I was outside in the afternoon washing my car. My neighbor, who I always knew is the neighborhood realtor, comes walking by with their dogs, which she did every single day. And she was like, hey, what are you doing right now? And I was like, well, I'm in between jobs. She was like, yeah, you should be at work right now. I was like, well, I got nothing going on right now, so this is what I'm doing. She was like, well, do you want to come down and see what I do? I was like, oh, okay. So like literally this is probably like a Friday. On Monday, I call her up and I'm like, hey, is that offer still on the table? So I go on down there, and I see her working. I see what she's doing. She recommended a few places that I call, a few different realtors to call. And I asked them all the same question. Would you get into real estate right now? And most of the answers were, no, get a real job. And that's one thing that my mentor, that neighborhood realtor is always said to me is, you should get a real job. And I'm like, no, I actually enjoy this. Nice. And she says that she's been a realtor for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And she's been incredibly successful. And she's kind of on her retirement track now. She's working when she wants to, doesn't have to work. But yeah, she's the main reason why I got into real estate. And we spent the next 2 or 3 years attached at the hip, going to every event together, going on appointments together. And she really familiarized me with the market and how to essentially be a good person. Yeah. When it came to, loving on my clients, and like, I don't buy leads. I don't buy leads from those online companies. I will not name them and give them any credit that they don't deserve. Good. Because I'm on the ground, working my sphere of influence, the people that know, like, and trust me. I'm actually having a client appreciation party in a few weeks. It's Thanksgiving pie. So people are going to come to my office, grab their pie, maybe have a little beverage here and there. And I just love on my clients whenever I can. Yeah. So yeah, that's the whole roundabout story of how I got into real estate and why I got into real estate. Like, as soon as I saw what my mentor was doing and how she was doing it, I learned about real estate. Not that it was never like on my peripheral of, like, this is interesting. Yeah. But I grew to appreciate what she did. Nice. Getting people into homes, kind of fulfilling the American dream of home ownership. Yeah. So, yeah, that's how I got into real estate.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that story.
Of course.
Yeah, I always love a good origin story.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So it seems like everybody and their mother is trying to become a real estate agent nowadays. But you do a very good job of setting yourself apart from that. We see your success online. We see your success with your clients. Like, what separates you from everybody else? Is it that mentor, or is it the online presence? Is it the community that you've built?
I'd say it's a culmination of all of that. Mm-hmm. Like that's the whole thing about being in real estate. Like, it's one of those positions that's almost, you hate to say it, but almost like a popularity contest, mm-hmm. right? And the popular realtors are those who are out in the community doing their thing. They're out, engaged in a bunch of different activities. And I'm thankful that I built the nonprofit before getting in, because that exposed me to a bunch of new people that I otherwise wouldn't have met if I just gotten into real estate and worried about my job, my career first. So yeah, I mean that it's getting involved in a bunch of different things. Like I coached youth lacrosse in Drake for several years, and I got one of my favorite clients from doing that. And I literally I wanted to coach lacrosse. I played in high school. I missed the sport itself, so being able to, like, you know, literally throw a ball around with you know, a bunch of kids learning the sport, that was cool. Yes. So yeah, I my car has always been my advertising piece. My back windshield is always a different banner image. Yep. And one of my kids' parents saw it. They were like, you know what, you're doing an awesome job. Like you're one of our kids' favorite. I won't name drop, but you're one of our kids' favorite coaches. Like, we're thinking about selling our house, thinking about buying a new one. So they included me in that very very intimate transaction, and that led to, I believe it was $1.2 million worth of real estate sold and bought.
Nice.
Which that was, you know, at the time that was a home run for me.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like I can make a living in this career.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, I mean, I'm running a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. I'm running the business. I've coached lacrosse. Last year was my first year off. Just because I bought a house of my own, and trying to manage everything that I do. I'm also a part of my local real estate association. Mm-hmm. And what that means is we service around 2,000 members at the Northeast Association of Realtors, and I'm the first vice president currently there. So, you know, I've always been involved in some capacity, just going to the events. I've been on a bunch of different committees there, and it exposes me to other real estate professionals in the industry. And, you know, a lot of people look at, well, why do I want to be friends with other realtors? Why, they're my competition. Well, yeah, they are your competition, but, you know, you also want to cooperate with your competition. Right? If there's someone on the other end of a transaction, you know, let's say I have a buyer for their house that they have listed, and I already have that rapport with them. I already have some sort of comfortability with them. That's an easier sell to that seller. Yeah. It's an easier transition because they know that I'm a professional. They know that I know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So it's easier on that transaction, and it helps build that relationship very early on to get us to the closing table. Like if there's any issues that pop up during the inspection period or during the appraisal period, we know that we'll be able to figure it out and it's going to be okay. And we'll coordinate and combine efforts to make this happen for both of our clients.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. Does that answer your question at all? In the slightest?
Was there a question? I don't even remember now. Yeah.
No, it does. It does.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. It feels like it's more than, obviously, it's more than just a job for you. It's another passion project, you know?
Yeah.
A career. I feel like some people are like trying to make an easy buck by becoming a realtor, which
that's the problem.
I feel like those just end up fizzling out anyway over time. But for you, it's more of passion, you know?
Yeah.
And community. Yeah.
Yeah. Helping my community, one house at a time. And, yeah, that's a real problem in the industry is people just chasing the money, right? They see realtors who are successful, and maybe it's us who are the problem, right? Like we're posting, oh, just sold, just listed, just sold, just listed, and we're not talking about like what we're actually doing in the industry.
Yeah,
what we're doing to get to that point. And it's about building relationships and cultivating those relationships to form stronger bonds, form, stronger partnerships with different professionals in the industry. They just see the money flowing.
Yeah.
Multi-million dollar award winning, real estate company.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing for your clients?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely a misconception that every realtor makes millions of dollars. I think the average is actually very depressing. $35,000 a year for the average real estate agent.
Wow. Interesting.
That's an alarming number.
That is.
But you're
Not
above
in a good
average.
way.
You're above average.
I'm above average.
Open up your bank account right now and share with me.
I will not be doing that.
It's okay because Gerry already hacked it. Gerry, pull out his bank account right now.
You're right. That is depressing.
Yeah. Like I said, I just bought a house last year.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
So on that topic, how do I get a free house?
how do you get a free house?
Yeah.
You gotta do a whole lot of, I don't know, bribes, maybe.
He's good at bribes. There's one thing Jerry's
what
good
can I
at.
bribe other than money? It's true. I see what you get now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do it for a house.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
How many times are we talking?
Yeah. Probably 10.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, you can do it.
I will.
All right. Well, that concludes this podcast.
Yes.
An episode of If I Were to Have a Podcast. Join us next week when Gerry has no dignity. All right.
After he's been canceled.
After he's a Kansas. Yes. Oh man. No, that's to your point, Gerry. Yeah, I feel like you see that in a lot of industries though, with people just kind of jumping in because they see other people making money.
We've seen it in ours as well.
We've seen it, a handful of times with ours, and even you can tell really quickly about people's intentions. And I feel like with such a surge of social media, right, and just and YouTube and like subscribers and likes and there's so much validation behind a blue check mark. I mean, not as of within the past 6 months when you can just buy one, but it doesn't hold as much weight. But when somebody sees that, it's like a psychological thing where it almost gives a little bit more validity. And people see that with numbers, and people see that with, all followers. And it's like, it's tough because I've seen plenty of people. I know plenty of people where, they have tens of thousands of followers on Instagram, and like their work's okay. And like, then I see people where it's like they got 200 to 300, and it's like, these people are making magic. Like, why don't these people have a following? And I think that it all comes down also to how you market and how you present yourself. And you have done it so beautifully. And I feel like there's a switch that's turned on within maybe, like, as you said, like the past year, maybe after a rebrand. And I would love to hear you talk a little bit about that switch that turned on and what you did to start growing online, but also just creating more of a presence for yourself online. Because you've done such a great job with it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's always a struggle. Talking about marketing, right? Like, I can sell anything, but when it comes to like marketing myself, I looked at it as selling myself, right? First off, and I looked introspectively, and I said, "All right, well, what makes me feel good?" And that's where like the switch happened. I was like, you know what, I want my clients to feel that connection with me. I want my customers to feel that connection with me. How am I going to do that? And it was by building an online presence. Obviously, I had an online presence previously, but yeah, like what I need to love on my clients. And how am I going to do that? I need to provide them more value. I need to provide them more content, more information, because they rely on me for that information, right? They're relying on me to tell them how it is, and what the process is to buy a house, what's the process to sell a house. They're relying on me for that information, and if I'm not giving it to them, then who is, right? And is that person's intentions different than mine, right? Like I know that I love on my clients, and I know that they can rely on me, and I want them to know that they can rely on me for that. So yeah, I really took like a deep dive into what I was doing, and I had some I had some companies auto posting for me, and none of the branding matched up. It was all like just cut and copy for a bunch of different real estate professionals, and I didn't like that. I really did not like that, and the engagement wasn't there. Like it was getting, 1 or 2 impressions, and now I'm getting, thousands of impressions on videos. Yeah. Maybe not multiple thousands, but 1,000 impressions on a video, like I'm happy with that. Yeah. And that just means that more people are consuming my content. I have picked up some ideas from you over the past couple of weeks.
Explain. Go on.
You may have told me to film a video in the shower, and I immediately thought like slasher video. Yep. Because it's like a basement shower, and it's kind of creepy, and this is the wonkiest clawfoot tub that I've ever seen with random plumbing everywhere. And
for the record, I just told you to send that to me, not to post it online. I said I wanted to see you in there, and just send it.
See, I misconstrued it. And I filmed
you're
an
right.
entire video.
You're right.
No,
That's okay.
I didn't.
It's all right. I'm very disappointed in you.
I missed the mark. And
it's a good opportunity.
If I have another opportunity to film that video, I will.
Yeah.
But like it's such a struggle. Like you need to make that conscious effort to like pick up your phone and take a video, take a picture. Like I'm all about being present in the moment, and it's so tough to be present in the moment.
Yeah.
Without having that online presence.
Of course. How do you find that balance? How do you find that balance of being present, but also trying to be aware enough to be like, oh, this is a good piece of content?
So like, all right, last night, my fiance and I went to a new brewing company in Tingsboro. And at the start of it, I was like, all right, Paige, give me 1 second. I need to take a bunch of pictures. So I did. And then I got to enjoy, the time that we had together. Yeah. We grabbed a beer, grabbed some what else did we have?
Just beer.
Fries. Yeah. We had fries.
Yeah.
They were great. Truffle Parmesan fries. Really good.
Nice.
But yeah, it was just about taking that like second to take a bunch of pictures, because like that's really all it takes.
Yeah.
And then I posted them later. Like was really no big thing. But I always like hype it up in my mind to be this big thing, like this big obstacle that I need to get over. And like I've never been afraid to be on like camera.
Yeah.
And I know that's one of the biggest mountains that people need to climb, is like being on camera.
Yes.
And like seeing themselves on camera. Like, dude, you look how you look. Mm-hmm. Sorry if you think you're ugly. Maybe you're ugly.
Why'd you look at him and say
that's how you look.
You might be ugly.
But no, in all
Yes.
reality, like that's people's biggest threshold.
Yeah.
So
It's themselves. Yeah. And I think you made a good point too, hyping it up, right? Where if you just kind of take the anxiety around it away, or not anxiety, that might not be the right word, but like, you're making it a bigger deal sometimes than you have to. When like you said, all that you did was take a few photos and post it up, which is funny because I saw those and I was going to message you, or I was going to say something to you today about how good of an Instagram fiance you are. Cause that was, cause like first photo was like cute clinking the glasses with Paige. And I was like, he's on point and a nice little promo for the business. I see what he's doing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And I was like, good job. So I'm glad that you brought that up. But
plus sex sells, so.
that's true. That's true. That's why you show your face on camera so much, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I barely ever see Paige, you asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I keep her hidden away.
Yeah. It's all right. We all do. Because we know that they would be better at all that stuff than us. So, and yeah.
I mean, Kat is. She's like fucking viral on TikTok.
That's true.
Is she
That's
really?
true. I always forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't come across her on my feed, but I'm gonna have to find her.
Yeah. How did she get there again?
I've come across her. Anyway,
I'll let you reset that, Gerry.
So it says to the guy,
You're gonna cut that?
We'll
I'm
see.
talking about my own wife. And coming across her TikTok.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I don't have a TikTok. I don't even know how she became. There's a couple videos and like strings of videos that have gone like viral. One of them was like she asked AI to create art based on. No, it wasn't that. It was guess which prompt I gave AI for this Disney art, and then it would show like a weird like abstract art with the color palette of like something from a Disney movie.
yeah,
And then that got like a shit ton of traction on her TikTok. And another one was just stupid names she's called her Sims before. And then I think there's some like talking about how like she grew up kind of in a cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Some of that
those
stuff
ones went
got
pretty viral. Yeah.
some good traction. And yeah, I think I don't know the numbers, but I think she has like 2-point-something million likes and something like that.
What?
I don't know. Yeah, no, she. So again, yeah, she would be better at this than me, and she is.
Yeah,
Holy
she is.
crap!
Does she still post as consistently?
No,
No. Yeah. What a shame.
it is a shame.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
is.
damn shame.
She was crushing it.
I can't be
That's
the only one paying the
biggest thing,
bills.
though.
Yeah. No, it's
That's
tough.
the biggest thing: staying consistent.
Yeah.
and like having a plan,
Yeah.
right? Like having some sort of content plan. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I brainstormed a bunch of video ideas yesterday actually, and I have like 8 right now.
Yeah.
Over the next couple of weeks, that's what I'm gonna be pushing out. So
Yeah.
having a plan, sticking to it, being consistent, which I'm an offender of that. Like,
Yeah. I mean, we are too.
Yeah,
our-
I am terrible at that. Shot a wedding this past weekend. Took 2 clips.
Yeah.
One was a shoot day, and then the other one was just a photo of me behind the camera during the reception.
yeah,
And yeah, it's
like you almost need like a full-time content person.
Because like when
With
I'm
you.
so when I'm shooting, my mind is only in that because I
Yeah.
want to deliver the best possible product for my client.
100%.
But I know that in the back of my head, I always have to be thinking about our content because that's
Yep.
how we grow as a business and stuff like that. But I don't know. It can be tough.
Yeah, especially when, like, to your point of coming up with a plan or something like that, we put a lot of our like mental energy into all the people who we work with and who
Yeah.
we create with and all the businesses, and I mean, from even when we were working together, right? Trying to work with you and like work with other stuff to try to come up with ideas. So we do a lot in that regard of conceptually trying to come up with stuff, which again, not every client needs because we kind of we have those different areas where sometimes they have the ideas and we just need to shoot them and like edit them and take everything and bring them to life and work in the marketing. Sometimes they don't have the ideas, so we have to be a part of the conceptual side.
Yep.
So, but that's where our energy goes. So it's always tough when we have to like think about stuff for ourselves. And even with like this podcast and everything that we're doing, this has been such a passion project and an idea for like almost a decade that we've been
Right.
wanting to do. And, when everything started to click with like just the name, the concept, everything else, we were like, okay, we need to make this happen because we
Yeah.
know of all the other ideas that we've come up with that have just died over the years that we've never brought to life. We're like, if we don't make this happen, then it probably won't. So yeah. And make it a priority and view this as a client. As you said earlier, when you were trying to think of like, viewing it as like you're selling yourself, right? So you had to be introspective as if you were working with a client, but you're working with yourself. It's similar, and but it's tough though. It's tough.
It's got to be tough because like you're already doing the thing that a lot of people need to do. You're filming content, right?
Yeah.
You're filming it behind the scenes. Like that content is probably fun.
Yeah.
Like
It is.
I enjoy watching behind the scenes content.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's got to be the biggest struggle because like you're already doing the thing.
Yeah.
Now you have to take out this device out of your pocket that
Exactly,
is nowhere near the same quality as these cameras.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably like a slap to you, right?
That, and I'm an old man, so social media is bad, and I don't want to be on social media. And
Yep.
yeah.
That's man. Yeah, it's
Yeah, for the longest time, I forgot. Like, I have a camera in my fucking pocket.
Yeah.
Like, I remember once I was driving. I'm like, oh, that's a beautiful fucking sunset. I wish I had my camera. And I just kept driving, and then the sunset, and I'm like, wait a minute, I had a fucking camera. It was in my pocket the whole time.
and then he just took the photo and then
Boomer.
he crashed into a ditch.
I am. I'm a boomer. I'm a boomer.
Jer Boomer. You no, that's something I think we all struggle with.
Yeah.
But I think that it's less about because you have to find that balance too of like quality and consistency. And I think that that's something that a lot of people struggle with. That's something where we struggle with for a long time.
What do you mean?
Where we're like, okay, we want to make sure that it's perfect.
Yeah.
Which that'll delay us from doing it. I mean, even now, right? Look at the setup of the podcast. It's not. We tried to really put some thought and effort into everything how we have it set up, and we like made it a point to do that. But again, still finding like the okay with putting out stuff that is just organic and it doesn't have to be
perfect.
Isn't perfect. And I think I think that there's a place for perfect, but then there's a place for just documenting and capturing and sharing that user generated content feel. And again, I know that we're all speaking the same language because you know all this too because you do this right for your business, and you know that there's a place for like stuff to look a little bit more set up, a little more professional. And then when you're just like putting hey, talking to the camera. And that's
put smoke detectors.
putting up smoke detectors. Yeah. One of my favorite clips, and it's so silly, but I'll show it if you're watching this and not listening to it. It's on this YouTube video right now. I'll show the clip, and it was so simple and so ridiculous that I even showed Kim, and I was like, "This was good." And I hate that this was good, was when you were showing the inside of a house. I forget what type it was. I don't know if it was like Victorian or something. And there was shelves and like in what's it called? What's the term for when they're already in?
Built-ins.
Built-ins. There we go. Yeah. And there was built-ins.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, these are really cool shelves and like built-ins. And like in these old houses, you get these types of unique little, these characters. And then you're like, yeah, you can put anything on this shelf, or you can go up here. Oh, what's this? And then you reached up top and you pulled down a flyer for like an event or something that you were having, or an open house or whatever it was for the house. And I was like, oh, you sneaky bitch. I was like,
I got a couple comments like that. Yeah.
That was really good. And like, it was so simple. Yeah. And it was user generated. You did it with your phone. It was like, it took, 20, 30 seconds. Yeah. And I feel like that did, in my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if that was just one of your better videos. That was very simple. And it was really good.
It was very simple and like very easy to think about because like my clients are telling me basically all of these talking points about their house, right? Like they've lived there for so long.
Yeah.
The clients selling that house, they grew up in the house and they knew like all the secret hiding places, and so they knew of that shelf. It was kind of like hidden away. Just a random shelf, right? So they told me about it, and like I had that in the back of my mind, and like I didn't think of doing anything there, but I was at the house early for the open house, and I was just like, all right, I gotta film something.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's send it. Like,
no, I thought that was
just
great.
Filmed it. But yeah, it's just being intentional and again figuring out like. it's whatever like you would watch.
Yeah.
Post something like that, right? Because like that's what.
Maybe not for Gerry.
Whatever.
All right, so maybe
whatever I would post. Got it. Okay. I can't wait to tell Kat the good news.
Just about anything you would watch.
yeah. About anything. Yeah. Not like everything that you would watch.
Think of probably for you 1% of what you would watch.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But like what would keep you entertained? Like
Yeah.
That's really what I meant.
Yeah. No, that's true. Well, plus I think it's because what would you say that your demographic is?
I would say that it's a millennial for sure. And that's a lot of the people who reach out to me on social media. They're millennial home buyers that they want to enter into the market, and it's, it's intimidating for them. But I'd like to think that because they found me on social media, they've watched some videos, they've been informed, and then we sit down and we really like talk about the process in detail, and like I don't hold anything back. Like I share the real like scary truths of buying a house, but at the end of the day, like that is their goal, and whatever I can do to help them reach that, I'm gonna do that. So yeah, the primary demographic like watching my stuff is a millennial, and they're the largest demographic buying houses right now.
Would you say we're all fucked? Is this a good time to sell, buy, or are we just waiting for a crash? Is that thing ever going to come? Or
So
rub that magic 8-ball.
We have an inventory problem, and we've had this inventory problem for years and years and years and years and years. And it's only gotten worse with interest rates rising, because the people who refinanced to a lower rate over the past several years, they're probably in a 3% mortgage, give or take. And I'm not a lender, but interest rates being around 7.5% to 8%, that's giving them zero incentive to want to sell their existing house, which their existing house is likely that first-time home buyer, that entry-level home that is really needed in today's market. So we have an inventory problem. So when something pops up in someone's price range and it's listed for the right amount, because some sellers are a little eager and they're asking for too much. They're a little greedy in that regard. So they're asking for essentially what that house will likely sell for if they were to list it at a little lower amount. But anyway, so we have an inventory problem. That's not going anywhere. Rentals are through the roof in terms of the price of a rent. It's 100% interest. That's for damn certain. And you're paying someone else's mortgage. So yeah, I mean, the difficulty is, you do have to eat it, right? It's 7.5% to 8% to finance that purchase. Eventually, rates will come down. And I don't know when that's going to happen. And we're likely never going to see a 3% mortgage ever again. Yeah. Because that happened due to an unforeseen circumstance like COVID. So yeah, I don't think that's happening again. And to say like interest rates might level off and stay consistently at 5%, maybe that could happen. But yeah, people need to finance in order to purchase a home unless they have cash. And it's just the new norm. I really don't see a downward trend of homes selling. Some homes are sitting on the market, but it's because their value is not presented, right? Their value compared to what they're listed at, it's not presented in a easy to palate way, and home buyers are kind of calling their bluff, Like, no, your house isn't worth that much, right? Maybe it's $20,000 or $30,000 off, but until they have that reality check, like they're not going to accept that $20,000 or $30,000 discount, what they consider a discount, right? So inventory, that problem is not going away. We need to lighten the load by allowing for more houses to be developed, more affordable housing options. These things need to come down the pipeline so that, you know, the prime demographic buying houses, they have an affordable option to buy a house in the areas that they're working. Like that's the biggest thing. Like, you know, talk about teachers, healthcare workers. It's important for them to live within proximity to where they're working, right?
Yeah.
And if they can't afford to live in that community, in that area, they might need to find another job elsewhere, or like it's just making it inaccessible for them to own in their area. So we need more affordable options. We need newer builds, newer affordable housing options, like a 40B project, something along those lines that's going to entice those workers to live where they're working.
Nice. Thank you for that uplifting news.
You're welcome.
So what you're saying is that
it's
I
no-
need to start a new pandemic so that interest rates can get down to 1%. How
Well,
bad of a pandemic will get it?
No, here's the thing. Like in order to build generational wealth, like, you know, you ask any millionaire where they've made their money, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to be in real estate. Like, so if you're considering buying a house, you need to enter into the market in order to start building up that wealth. Like leveraging your first property. You know, maybe you buy the condo, you don't buy your forever home for your first purchase. Maybe you buy that condo, that smaller home that later you can rent out. That's your first income producing property. Once interest rates come down, you refinance that mortgage, you put a renter in that home, and then you buy that next house. Then you buy the next house. Then you buy the next one, right? And that's how you're going to build up that generational wealth. And I mean, you can build up wealth through the stocks, and it's all a gamble. It really is, but people will always need a place to sleep, right? And that's people's homes. So it's one of the more protected investments that you can make, because our population is growing. And
What? It is?
I mean, that's the thing, you know, if our population is going to grow, where is everyone going to live? Because I can tell you right now, like in 20, 30 years, I don't want to live in one of those like pod setups, like just a sleeping pod. No,
Yeah.
I want a house with rooms that,
You can have multiple pods.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's a pod pottery.
Yeah.
Party?
Pod party. Pod party.
It's a pod patty.
Pod party.
Pod potty.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
This is a podcast.
This is a podcast, not a pod potty.
It
It could be a pod potty.
Pod party for the podcast.
Pod potty for the podcast. Pod potty podcast.
Pod. Is it too late to rebrand?
No, we're rebranding right now. Welcome to today's
Pod
episode of Pod
Potty
Potty Podcast.
Are you guys saying pod or pog?
Pod.
Pog. Are you talking about pogs?
Pogs.
Like slammers and shit? Are you too young for pogs?
I think he's too young for pogs. I think he's a little too young for pogs. I'm technically a little young for pogs, but I used to have
If
pogs.
you know what pogs are, let us know down in the concepts. Concept? What the fuck did I just
Comments.
say? In the concept.
in the concept below. Yes.
If you know what a pog is, let us know down in the comments. It's
Well-
not what you would think it is.
Yeah.
What do you think a pog is? Brandon.
What do you think of
Brandon
pogs?
Sweeney. What do you think
So
a pog
this is weird because you're asking it, so his mind can go anywhere.
Yeah.
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 And
What do you think a pog is?
Just take a guess.
some sort of frog.
That's cute.
Type of frog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. You're wrong.
No. Jerry, educate
Well,
the youth
Okay.
on what a pog is.
So there were these little, like tiny little paper disc things,
Cardboard-esque.
cardboard-esque disc things with different pictures and shit on them, and then you would have this one like either metal or super thick plastic one. You would build them up into a tower, and then you would slam the big one down, and then they would just. I never really understood the point of them. I had like a tube of pogs at one point, but
Same. I never actually played them. I just collected them. It was kind
Same.
of like
Yeah.
Pokemon. Like I never played Pokemon. I just collected Pokemon. But yeah, they all had like just different like different.
This was before-
You're acting
this-
like we didn't grow up around. I mean, he's old, but
this was before cell phones and the internet.
Yeah. You would be
Yeah,
surprised.
but I feel like I should know about Pogs
They were big for
if they
like
were
a couple
big.
of years.
If
They were big.
actually big.
Yeah, they were big. I mean, I had them, and we're not that far apart.
No.
Yeah. Go ask your brother. Go ask your brother about Pogs.
Call him right now.
See if he ever had them.
Get
Yeah.
on the phone
Yeah.
right now.
See, I don't
yeah.
have my cell phone on me.
See, that's why you should have had it. Yeah.
You guys
That's how-
patted me down before getting into this podcast. So
We did. That's on a separate podcast. But we'll show you images afterwards. And for those who have no idea what we're talking about, these are Pogs. And if you're listening to this, it is on our YouTube. So we're showing Pogs right now. Pog. They were ridiculous. I thought that they were actually the most pointless thing.
Yeah.
I never found any. I had no idea what I was doing with them, and I just collected them, and I don't know where they are. I feel like those are one of the things that hold zero value. I'm gonna say this, and then there's probably somebody out there like flipping Pogs now for like thousands of dollars. Like somebody's just got like this killer metal like Pog that just sold for $13,000 somewhere that Gerry V advised them to.
Right.
So
No, all right. So I'll bring this up. I saw a clip of Pete Davidson. Right.
yeah.
Pete Davidson.
Yep, I've seen this.
He saw that that VHSs were coming up on what was it, 20 years, something like that, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna start collecting VHS tapes. And he got a bunch of original VHS tapes in the boxes,
All packaged.
all packaged, and he started flipping VHSs, and like he just like one day he was thinking about like something that was going to, make some money for him.
yeah,
and
people were laughing during the
he
interview while I was telling the story.
cornered the market.
Yeah,
Literally cornered
he took
the
all,
market.
he took all of them. He bought all of them from like a specific thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then he flipped one for what was it, $13,000?
yeah.
Yeah, one VHS, like one original VHS for $13,000. And then everybody in the crowd just was like, "Oh," and he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I'm smart now, bitch." Yeah, I saw that clip. I thought that was awesome, and then I bought 1,000 VHSs now.
Did you?
No, I didn't. I should have though.
Should have.
I think I think I might have some somewhere. So it's the OG Lion King. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that used to be my shit.
Yeah, I do have like a tote
Do you?
of.
Are they all open
Or
though
did-
and used?
Did my mom get rid of them? Might have gotten rid of them.
Ah,
But yeah, no, they're old and used, and
Yeah.
like, I mean,
yeah. Who knows?
I was big into The Lion King.
Yeah.
My brother was big into Aladdin.
Yep, those are big
loved
ones.
Toy Story.
Yeah.
So
Or the Orange Rugrats movie.
yep,
Yeah, the classic.
everyone had that.
Everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what the value is on those. I would love to know.
Pretty sure that's in storage somewhere for me.
Is it? Yeah. That's like, I feel like I have Goosebumps books somewhere, and I remember that years ago those took off, and those started selling, and I was like, I need to find these. And then there was like a little flood in the basement. Were you still there for that? When there was little,
Yeah.
in my dad's basement.
Yeah.
So again, for those who
It
don't
wasn't
know,
a flood. It was a
the water
hot
heater.
water tank.
Yeah, water
that,
tank exploded or something.
Yeah. Right at the bottom. So like there was no opportunity to just like shut off the water. It just like
Released.
Oh, really?
yeah.
So my dad lives in a 2-family. Sweeney used to live on the other side of the 2-family for a little while, and then but the way that my dad is like, my dad, anything, even with clutter, he's just like, I'm just gonna throw it out. He doesn't look at anything, nothing, and so he emptied out like everything from the basement. He's like, I'm just gonna throw it out. I was like, can I just go by and like look at some stuff to make sure that you don't throw out something valuable? And it was funny because when I went by, I found this book. And I actually haven't read it yet, and I feel like an ass. But I found this book that he wrote to me when I was young, when I was in California, when I was like a child, and he used to document different things and different stories. And he wrote this whole thing, and it's all dated. It's like from 1990, like 94, like all these different things of stories, because he used to be a limo driver. So like he would write down these things and just little life lessons and everything. And he wrote it in this book, and I haven't read it yet, but that was in the pile, and I found it. And I was like, what is this? And he goes, oh, I wrote that to you when you were young. And I was like, you were going to throw this out? He goes, oh, I didn't even know that it was there. And then like I found another like little photo album with like family photos when we were young. He's like, oh, cool. And then I was like, I'm coming back tomorrow, and I'm going through the rest of this. And then when I got back, everything was gone. He threw everything out. So I have no idea what valuables could have been in there, sentimental or
Papa
monetary.
J.
Papa J. He's always been like that, though. So if there was any clutter around, he'd be like, all right, I'm going to get rid of it like probably tomorrow. And if I didn't do it, it'd be gone.
Yep.
It'd be gone tomorrow. Maybe that's a generational thing, too. I have no idea. But that's how he's always been. Yeah. But I know that I still have my Pokemon cards. So, yeah. Even though that I gifted them to my cousin when he was like 12. And now he's...
Been all corners and...
No. He didn't do anything with
delaminated
them
them.
because he liked the gift, and he still has them. He just started college, and I was talking to him about us going through them soon and trying to see how much they were and then splitting the money. Be like, hey, it's still a gift to you. He goes, no, they're your cards. You can take them all back and sell them. I was like, I appreciate that, but they were a gift. We'll split the money. I will take some money, though. How the hell did we even get on the
I was just going
pod?
to say, how do we get there?
Did we think that he said something that
Yeah,
sounded like Pogs?
Pog Party. He was asking if we said Pog Party.
That's what it was, because
Yeah.
we were talking about pods.
Pods.
Pod
Party.
Speaking of pods, we're going to take a moment to thank today's sponsor for the podcast, which is us. We are today's sponsor, 41st Studios. Mike,
Yes.
what is this for the fifth time? What are we in front of right now?
That's a good question. We are in front of beautiful humans. That's what we're in front
Yes.
of.
Yeah.
We're also in front of a very majestic, unique, one-of-a-kind, state-of-the-art backdrop system on rails.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why should anybody give a shit about that?
They shouldn't.
Okay, cool. All
Yeah,
right.
that's the end of the podcast.
Thank you.
They should give a shit, because it's really cool, because we wanted to try and come up with a way to save people time and save people money and save space within the studio when building this out. And as you know, Sweeney, time is money. So when people come in here, all of these backdrops can condense into one area. If you want to use a certain one, you can pull it out. So it's easy just to set up your lights and set up whatever you need. And then when you need a certain backdrop, just pull it out and use it, instead of having to set one up and break one down every single time. You have to go through the process, which can be tiresome. How tiresome and how tedious can it be, Gerry?
I'm still trying to break mine down from yesterday.
Exactly. So it can take you a long time. And with this solution, it saves you time, which then saves people money, because you're taking a 15 to 20 minute task and condensing it into 15 to 20 seconds. Less than that, actually.
Yeah.
So the more that you can get done, the more money that you can make, because we rent by the hour here. That's what we do. What are your thoughts on this, Sweeney?
I love it.
Yeah.
When you guys had the whole vendor fair in here,
Yeah.
I was right in front of, was it this one or the disc one?
I think the disc one. I think it was,
Yeah.
because we have records. Yep.
Yeah, the records.
Yep, the record
one.
wall.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Wasn't around in my time.
It's
But yeah,
because you set so many records in real estate, just
Yes.
smashing the records.
That's
right.
what
That's
it is.
right.
Yes.
But no, as soon as I walked in here the first time that you let me see the space,
Yes.
because this was a long build out. But as soon as you allowed me to see the space, I saw this and I was like, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Like literally you can just pull on it. And I wish there was a Vanna White right now, just like pulling back the curtain.
You can be Vanna White if you want.
I could be.
You
All
can.
right. All right.
Go ahead, be Vanna White.
Vanna.
And do 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 do. I'd like to buy a vowel, please. Wow,
Oh my God,
that's amazing.
that is amazing.
I couldn't do that if I tried, or could I? Look at that. And now there's money. And look at how simple that was.
Yeah, simple.
And if you need someone to slide things back and forth for you, Sweeney is available. He does events.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
I do.
You do, yes. And we're going to have another podcast event, another pop-up event, by the way, coming up.
Sweet.
Because like you, we also like to do stuff for the community. And now that we have a space, we have started trying to do more and more pop-ups to, highlight small businesses, as you know. And we had you at the last one, and we had a bunch of other local vendors and artists, and it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And that's something that's always meant a lot to us, is to try and, make stuff that's community-based.
Yeah.
So it's been good. But yes, thank you for showcasing that.
Of
Yeah,
course.
we haven't had anybody showcase this before on here, so we've only used it a couple times, but still,
Just a few.
just a handful.
I like that we keep giving a shout out to the sponsor toward the end of the podcast.
I know. I realize that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's okay. It makes them wait around longer.
Who's their sponsor? They haven't said anything about sponsors yet.
We have to know who sponsored them. Yeah. Well, once we have official sponsors,
Yeah, Liquid Death.
Liquid Death, call us, hit us up, or
Yeah.
I'll never pronounce this right. Gayaki, yerba mate.
Or
Oh my God, that
Zevia.
is so refreshing. That is the tastiest thing I've ever put in my
Tastes
mouth.
Like yellow. It's great.
Tastes like yellow.
Yeah, no, it is actually really tasty. Bluephoria. It's my favorite flavor. It's good. It's good. But you like the Zevia?
Yeah.
Good.
It's got the bubble. It's got like a little sweetness to it.
Yeah.
I will say it's not exactly like orange soda,
Oh yeah.
but it's got the flavor. Like,
Yeah.
But would Kel Mitchell like it?
yeah, I'd say so.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
So when he comes on the podcast, we'll ask him.
Okay.
Yeah, if he likes orange soda, and if he
perfect.
likes that, so
Yeah.
that'd be great. Do you get that?
Welcome
Old
to
man?
Good Burger.
Kel?
Okay,
Can I
good.
take your order?
Thank you.
You weren't even alive when that came out.
I just had to make sure. Half the references sometimes that I make, you're like, what does it mean? And I gotta be like, yeah, it's the Utes.
Yeah, that was
It's the Utes.
that was before your time.
Listen, I claim it as my time because I remembered it and I loved it. And I haven't watched A Good Burger 2 yet because I'm afraid that it'll ruin it for me.
I never watched either of the movies.
Leave.
I will.
Is it out?
I don't know if it's out. I know that they filmed in like Connecticut or Rhode Island because I remember watching some people who I know were like a part of the production. And
Yeah, I had a film for Keenan. I was a stunt double.
nice. And then who would have made a good Kel double? Itai.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
Yep.
Itai
He
would
would've-
have made. Yeah. Itai, if you're watching this or listening to this,
Which you should be.
you'd make a great Kel double.
If he has not dressed as Kel for Halloween yet,
That's what I'm saying.
that's a missed opportunity.
I know.
Missed opportunity, yeah.
Huge missed opportunity.
I know. I've thought about that many times for some reason. Every single time I see Kel Mitchell and that, I think Itai.
Yeah, people
Okay.
people
I know.
have said that about me and like George Clooney.
Yeah.
Like huge missed opportunity. Why haven't you been George Clooney yet for Halloween?
Totally
You look
see it.
exactly like George
Yeah.
Clooney. I want to make out with you.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
It's me. I say that. Yeah. Yeah. And he still has it. But it's okay. I still accept you.
Yes.
For whatever you are. Oh, beautiful. Okay. So
Honestly, if I could snap my fingers and get rid of any race in the entire world and just eliminate an entire race, it would probably be the Bay State Marathon because of all the traffic that it causes. But one race that I would never get rid of is the msisbs annual 5K. I would never get rid of that. You do
The
so much for the community, and
twists?
it's so beautiful.
The twists and turns that just brought me through.
that's what I mean. When I read it, I was like, oh, this is good.
I would never get rid of it.
That was
get rid
a
of it.
journey.
Yeah. You do so much for the community, and it's a beautiful event,
I appreciate
and
it.
I'm always proud to be a part of it.
We're typically like a week apart too. We
Yeah, that's
don't
true.
cause nearly as much traffic.
You don't. Yours is very well put together,
Thank
Yes.
and I mean theirs is put together, but it causes it's too much. Yours is perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
Remember that. Yeah. You never want too much, right?
Yeah.
A little bit
Just enough.
is perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are perfect.
Perfect. Just
Yeah.
the way that I am.
That's right. Let's call it Paige and see if she thinks it's too much or perfect or the right size. Should we?
You know what? Do it.
See what she does.
put her on speaker for the podcast
It's all
to hear.
dangerous.
How big is Sweeney's heart?
I would not do that. I would not do that at all. You think that I would actually do that?
She's probably watching Golden Girls. She looks at her phone.
Thank you for being
She's
a
like,
friend.
why is Mike calling me right now?
She should pick up. I hope she's. I'm just going to keep this in.
That's so rude.
I'm just going to keep this in.
Hello.
Hey!
Hi.
Hey, random question. On a scale of 1 to
10 inches.
on a scale of 1 to 10, how packing is Sweeney? Are we talking like, hey, wheelchair?
Get
Or are
walk
we
after?
talking like, hey, I can go for a run right after? You know what I mean?
Is it comfortable or?
Like, I haven't been running in a long time.
Hey! All right. Well, that's all that I have for you. It has been so great
Good
talking to you.
answer.
Good
Good
answer.
answer.
Good answer. We love you, and I will talk to you soon.
We're going to make him prove it.
All right. Bye.
All right. So show the audience.
She's good. I am so excited for the questions that she has for you when you get home.
Or when I take my phone off and do not disturb.
All right. Well, all right. Rewind, reset. Whoop. As we wrap this up, one thing I'd like to ask you is, what are your goals, your next short-term goals and your long-term goals with everything that you're doing?
Yeah, so I'm actually goal setting next week, 2 weeks. So I'll be definitely processing everything. But I'd just say goals is touch as many people as possible through all the different organizations that I have going on. I am the incoming president-elect for my board next year.
Nice.
So very excited there. Produce as much value for our constituents as possible, our members. With real estate, I did post my goal on my birthday, which was to sell 29 homes between my birthday, which was August 25th, until my next birthday, which will be my 30th birthday.
Nice.
So, yeah, working on that. I'm making deals happen.
That's right.
Even though this market is scary, not a lot going on, I am still, putting together deals and working, and this is my career, so it is fulfilling my life.
Nice.
Very nice.
Very well said.
Very well said. Well, thank you for sharing that. We're excited to see you absolutely crush your goals.
Thank you.
And, before we wrap this up, in addition, we always like to kind of pass it on to you, where if there's anything that any last things that you want to say about the industry, about yourself, about your charity, whatever it may be, as well as give plugs, obviously, to everything.
Yeah.
But if there's anything else that you want to share, and then also if there's any questions or anything that you have for us, we always like to keep it open. Don't feel like you need to ask anything, but this is really just the floor for you to say whatever you want.
Yeah, so if anyone's trying to find me on the social media, you can find me at Sold with Sweeney Co. on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and just a couple other areas, YouTubes. I haven't been posting to YouTube very regularly, but I am there. And if you want to find my nonprofit, it's msisbsnewengland. No underscores, nothing like that. You'll be able to find us.
Nice.
In terms of you guys, thank you so much for having me on here. I hope. Okay, who has been your favorite guest so far?
You.
And you can't.
Who
I know I'm putting you on the spot.
So far?
That's mean.
I mean,
Probably gonna
yourselves.
say me.
probably Gerry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The coffee cupping.
Yeah, the coffee cupping. So I am going to give a very political answer. I think that it's tough to choose favorites.
Switzerland.
That's like choosing, your favorite kid, Tom Walsh. He was a favorite. No, every single one has been different and unique in every way, so it's very difficult. I think I have certainly favorite moments from each of them, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, this is really like this is a really good nugget from here. This really good nugget from here. The chemistry is great, and I think for as casual and laid back, I think this has definitely personally been one of the. I mean, they've all been pretty casual so far, but this has been pretty laid back and conversational, even with like jokes and shooting the shit. There's been a lot out there that I think we haven't
Definitely
done
out
too
there.
much on some of them, but. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, that's tough because everything brings a little something different, and that's what we love most. Is that also we never know what we're gonna get, even with how you started it, right? And that's why we love that question.
I knew I was gonna throw you guys for a loop with
You
that
did. You threw us for a loop. You threw us for a square. You threw us for everything.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah. Do you have any favorites, or would you say?
That was such a bullshit answer.
I said I was gonna give a political answer. Yeah.
You.
Thanks, Jer.
It's very cute. That was such a bullshit answer.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's lying or not.
Look at me.
That's-
Do I look like I'm lying?
You'll never know.
No.
You'll never know if Jerry's lying. I hate it. So I just always assume he's lying. That's been my go-to. So there's a lot of times that he tells the truth. So, yeah. That's our cue. All right. So again, Sweeney, thank you so much for joining us today and just sharing not just your journey, but some helpful just tips about everything that's going on, and also bringing people a little bit closer to what you're doing with MSSBS New England, because what you're doing is amazing and you're helping a lot of people. So thank you for coming on and doing that. Plus, you're one of the most genuine and hardworking and nicest people that I have in my circle and that we have, associated with. And I'm excited to witness and see everything that you do from here.
Thanks, Ben.
Of course.
Really appreciate it.
Of course. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Gerry,
Why?
who's going to send us away and send us out for our favorite part of the podcast.
Why?
Go ahead,
Why
Gerry.
do I have to do this every time?
You got this. You got this. He's gonna start nailing it, and then it's not gonna be fun anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I'm also purposely never gonna prepare for it, just so
Good.
I always fuck it up in the beginning.
That's why I
but
love
this time I'm gonna take a sip of our future sponsor, Liquid Death, so I make sure that I nail it on the first take.
Yes. Will Liquid Death help you nail it on the first take or not?
Ah, refreshing. So refreshing.
That's good.
Yeah.
You got this.
What am I doing?
You're sending us away.
I know what I'm
Gerry.
doing. I know what I'm doing. I just don't want to do it.
Do it.
All right, fine. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of If I Were to Have a Podcast. And thank you, Sweeney, for being a part of this today. Make sure to head over to MSSBS New England and show some support to your local MS fighters, as well as if you're looking to sell a home, go ahead and make sure it gets sold with Sweeney. So go ahead and hit that like button if you like this video. Subscribe, because we're going to be pumping out videos every single week. And drop a comment down below, because we do look at those. Thank you, and until next time. I fucked up the end. God damn it!
How'd you fuck up the end?
I think you
nailed it.
How'd you fuck up the end?
Yeah.
I liked it.
That was
Did I
natural.
give enough space in between at the end? And thank you. Until next time.
Go ahead. Say it right now.
Thanks, bitches.
There you go. That's how it's gonna end.
Yeah. And thank you for watching If I Were to Have a Podcast. We'll see you next time. This is my first time doing it the first take. Oh my god, I'm so good at this now. I can do anything. That was incredible. I can do anything.
If I were to have a podcast,